Hi, this is Gayle with BERNINA of Naperville, and the time has come for our final and last installment of the BERNINA software building blocks. So I certainly hope that for the year 2024 that you have enjoyed working along with us and Debbie in creating these wonderful projects. So let's have a look at what's in store for us this time around.
Now, as you know, this is the Bernina of Naperville additional content, and I always try to do a little something extra or stitch out the project that Bernina develops or something like that. So this time it is no different. The only thing is, instead of printing onto fabric with my inkjet printer or lack thereof, I gave you a photo stitch project because, I know there's so many aspects of the software, and sometimes it's fun to have a reason to do something with that application as well. So I'm working here from our interactive presentation deck, which you will get emailed direct to you if you have signed up for our program. And let's just take a moment to talk about signing up for this program. The Bernina of America produced content for software building blocks resides on the Bernina Skill Hub, and that's where I am right now. You're going to have to create a username and password to be a part of this site. And then if you haven't logged in a bit, you are going to have to provide a verification code that gets sent direct to your email. It's a 6-digit number. You just enter it in. I have been logged in recently, so I don't need to do that. When you go to the course catalog of the Bernina Skill Hub, you're going to see that there's all sorts of lessons that are available to you. And right now, Bernina is having a sale on any of their Bernina Skill Hub courses through December 31st. However, you're going to need to buy the Bernina building blocks from us if you want the additional Bernina of Naperville content. And this one right here, this Bernina Building Blocks Volume 1, this is actually the course that we're finishing up right now in December of 2024. So for 2025, there will be Volume 2. And another thing I want to comment on is if you do want to enroll for Volume 2 at berninaofnaperville.com, you can see that we have our building blocks for 2025 available to purchase. And if you are already subscribed to our Building Blocks program, I have emailed you a special code for $50 off. And it's also in the presentation deck that you get if you sign up for the 2024 program. So just keep that in mind. And for those of you that are just watching this video, it's not too late to sign up for the Bernina Building Blocks 2024 that you're watching now. But if you sign up, once again, make sure that you sign up through us so you can get our extra content. So I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but we are going to be doing this same process again in 2025. And the first lesson will come February 15th. So basically, if you click the link here to sign up, and then once you purchase, if you just go ahead and use your code all at checkout, you're going to get $50 off your subscription. So when you sign up for this, you're going to get our material, but you're also going to get the access codes for the Bernina Skill Hub that you enter in. Now you're paying us for those Skill Hub courses. So when you enter in your Skill Hub code at the Bernina Skill Hub, you are going to make sure that you do not actually pay any money or give any credit card because that access code is the same as cash. Now, when you go to the Bernina Skill Hub, there are loads of instructions from Bernina of America that will help make your project perfect. In lesson 6, they have a capturing memories creator level instructions. That's where Debbie's going to make the child's drawing of a dragon. Then there is the capturing memories designer plus level, which is her piece picture here. There's also the presentation that she gives you. In addition, you're going to hear me reference Debbie Lashbrook's video. Well, that video is streamed on the Bernina of America educational platform, Bernina Skill Hub. You can't download that, but it is available for 2 years. BERNINA of America also includes files. Now, I've given you quick links to those as well, just so you have them all in one tidy place. Now, so let's talk about Lesson 6. So the Bernina produced portion of Lesson 6 is covering two levels, one for Creator and one for Designer Plus. The software tools in Creator for capturing memories is going to be using the auto digitizing, magic wand, digitize applique, and applique tools. And I find that the most helpful tool in this lesson is using the knife to remove and add stitch angles so that you can transform your auto digitizing piece to something that is very professional looking. Like normally we have very limited things that we can do in the auto digitizing, but being able to splice some of those very long connected bits is very helpful using that knife. And then a lot of you have asked about branching, and Debbie will cover that as well in her creator video. So just make sure that you check that out. And then another thing that she's going to take you through is actually using Corel, the Corel side, the Corel draw, to create artwork that's going to be printed on fabric and then appliqued. So her lesson is really, really important. And we're going to just take a bit of this lesson and transform what she was printing on fabric and turning it into stitches with the color photo stitch. So that's a little bit of the difference for what we're doing this time around. Debbie's also going to take you through capturing your child's creativity. Now, what I've given you here is a link to a blog post she did a few months back, which is, you can see here, this was a little sketch that, one of her little niece or nephews have done, and then she turned that into an actual embroidery design. So this is already available at wealsew.com, but it does tie in nicely to this lesson. So on with Bernina of Naperville's practical lesson. Like I said, we decided to focus on a mixed media project, but we're going to elaborate on it. And we know that I stink at getting printers to work. I just suck the ink and the energy right out of them, right? So we are expanding on Debbie's lesson to include photo stitch in place of printing. And there you can see on the right side there what you're kind of going to be in store for. So the supplies are pretty simple. I'm using a blank canvas that I purchased at Michael's. It's 16 inches by 20 inches, but let's be honest, you can pick whatever size you wanted for this project. And obviously smaller projects are going to stitch out a little bit faster. I used stable stick cutaway in 20-inch wide. I'm using my Bernina 990 giant hoop. And then I grabbed a solid fabric, pretty much a selection from Pure Solids that we carry here at the store, to add a vivid look under that photo stitch background. I'm using isocord thread, and I literally just lined it up with what the software told me to do. You're going to see that in a moment. And I just used white bobbin thread in the bobbin. And because we are also doing a little bit of applique with this project, you're going to want these perfect scissors with the serrated edge for snipping your threads and the trim in place applique. There's some other materials that you might want. There's applique fuse and fix if you want to actually stick your fabric down. I did not put any of that on my material. I just left it right in place. The canvas that I mentioned there, but I gave you the sizes to shop for. And a stapler that you can actually just push into wood, and also a stapler remover or a flathead screwdriver to take the staples out of your canvas, because we're not going to embroider on the canvas while it's still on the frame for obvious reasons. Let's talk about some best practices. Now, before you do any of the Bernina of Naperville content, I really do want to make sure that you watch the Bernina of America videos from Debbie. You're going to work along with her, and you're going to create your own files, and then you're going to stitch them out, especially the creator exercises. So if you stitch out the creator exercises, I want you to pay special attention to those areas of the satin stitched outline dragon where she changes the stitch angles and those satin stitching. And then also look at how the digitized magic wand center line stuff stitched out, and then also the applique where the teeth were enlarged just a little bit, and she did some special tricks to those because this is where you're really going to learn what those things she's teaching you to do in her video, how they really translate to when you stitch them out. And then also, even though we have that slow redraw in our software, nothing really replaces literally threading up the machine and doing a test sew. Now that you're ready for that, it's ready to proceed for our color photo stitch. Now you're going to prep your choice of photo following Debbie's instructions for the Designer Plus exercise. I just want to reiterate that the best photos that work are ones that have high contrast of color, highlights, and it might not be something that would be totally ready if you were going to print it, for the family wall or whatever, but photo stitch, color photo stitch likes a lot of contrast. I used a photo of Ireland, and because I'm a little bit lazy, I chose to write EIRE, which is ERA. It's only 4 letters as opposed to Ireland, which I believe is still 7 letters when you spell it out, right? But once the artwork canvas item is prepped, we're going to use that to create our color photo stitch canvas. So let's see that.
So here in my artwork canvas, I have gone through the steps that Debbie taught you in order to create your mixed media collage. Now, I decided that, you know what, you don't need to see me do exactly what Debbie did. And truth be told, I do not have an inkjet printer for the printable fabric. But one of the features that I love in the Bernina embroidery software is photo stitch. So I am going to start here with my outline selected, and I'm going to convert this to embroidery. And in my case, let's view to hoop. This creates 2 pictures for some reason. So I'm just going to delete one. And for right now, leave this one. So what I want to do, if you notice here that my outline does not line up with the picture, and that is actually the case, that is how the engine works. So I am going to take the picture here and I'm going to make it so that it fits my outline. And that means that I may need to disproportionately resize it just to get it into the right spot. And now you can see that the E looks pretty good, but it starts to get off a little bit here. No worries. So I am going to just select the outline and just, move that over with my keyboard arrows just a little bit. And I will work with some node adjusts to tweak this at the end. But in reality, I do not even really care what the picture itself looks like, because I'm going to select my picture and turn this into an auto-digitized color photo stitch. Be alarmed, but the photo stitch can only do certain sizes, but we're not going to worry about that. We're just going to say, okay. And now we are going to select a few things here. So I am going to have the highest resolution, and I'm going to match with a bitmap color palette. And then I'm just going to bump up my colors until I get something I like. And this takes a little bit of tenacity. That looks pretty good, because once I have this like this, I can tweak my colors a little bit in my software. So let's say, okay, oh, I love this. Now I'm going to hide my picture, and I'm going to put this over my first E and enlarge. Get it right on top of those pieces. Perfect. And now I want to kind of have a look at what's going on here. So I want my green to be more green, like not as dingy green, right? So I'm going to pick 33. That looks pretty good. 61, I would like to be a little bit more vibrant blue. And I would like this one to be a little bit more vibrant as well. Okay. And then this one, definitely lighter. Okay, that looks pretty good. But then over here, do you see these little guys here? These are sheep. So we're going to pick those and make them white. So any blue that I see in here, I'm turning white. And then down here, these little guys, it might be easier if we go to our design view to see what we're picking. That's going to be gray. And I want that actually to be a much lighter silverier gray. So let's see how that looks now. Yeah, that looks more sheep-like. And so then I want that to be sheep-like. And then let's see. And then this blue, remember, down here is going to be sheep-like. And then this kind of green, let's see. Let's go for this. It's the little sheep grazing in the field. Okay. You can kind of see our little bits there. I kind of like that. I might have one little bit there I want to turn to white. And now that I'm happy with the way that my photo stitch is turning, oh, hang on. I have one little area there. Let's do this. Okay. All right. I'm happy with that. And I might also make this, instead of black, I think I want to make this more green. Let's see what that looks like. Let's see if there's another more vibrant option. Oh, I like that better. Okay. So now that I've got my photo stitch arranged, and remember, this is abstract, I'm going to take my outline and I'm going to tweak it so it lines up more with my photo stitch. And if you need to, you can go to Show Objects to grab the appropriate part of your letter. So this is my E here, so I want to move that over. And that just allows me to tweak that a little bit better. So these are all very nice here. The only thing I might want to do with this one is move it over just a little bit. Okay, perfect. Let's view it to hoop again. And now let's select all and rotate it, because I want it to stitch like this. Okay, so at this point, I want the era to actually stitch out as applique. So I'm going to go over to my applique drawer and I'm going to convert to applique. I also want all of our photo stitch to stitch first. So I'm going to select by clicking the first color in my photo stitch and scrolling down and holding shift, then click, and then moving this to the first position. And then I'm going to select all of my applique by clicking my first applique group and scrolling down, holding shift and clicking the last one. And we're going to combine applique. This is going to be so all of my tack down and all of those things stitch in a logical combination. Perfect. And then I want to select the Aira satin stitching and make that Kelly green. Now, another thing that I want to do is I want to combine some of these white colors so they just stitch at the end. So I'm just going to select and drag my little white sheep so they stitch all together. And sometimes we have to do these things manually. Okay, once you get everything kind of sorted with photo stitch, the layering doesn't matter as much. So you're a little bit better off to just kind of wiggle things around and kind of get the preview and see how you like it here. But what we want to do now is actually do a placement stitch at the very beginning. So I'm using my color film to move this to the very beginning of the color film. So this is going to be a placement stitch so that I can then lay down some fabric that will enhance this photo stitch. And I'm thinking like either a green or a light blue. Then I'm going to take my other piece, which is my tack down, and I'm going to move that one to the second position so it tacks it down. Then all of the photo stitch is going to stitch out, and then finally the cover stitch. So let's go ahead and send this over to our machine and stitch it out and see what this looks like.
So now that you've created your digitized photo and the applique and all of those things and have sent it over to your sewing machine, we are going to hoop one layer of stable stick stabilizer in cutaway, paper side up, and in my case, in the giant hoop. You're going to score the paper to reveal that sticky portion of the stabilizer, and you're going to peel that away, and then you're going to remove the canvas from its wooden hoop. You're also going to make sure that you draw horizontal and vertical centering lines on the canvas and on your sticky stabilizer so that we can place our canvas right into the center spot of our hoop. And I used a heat vanishing pen to mark the center, but you might want to use just something that you can wash away a little bit easier with a damp cloth. And we're going to in the video here, you're seeing that I used the basting program to baste the canvas onto my hoop, but I had a heck of a time removing my needle holes when I did the basting. So I would just recommend that you very carefully just stitch the placement lines for your solid fabric, and that will hold that onto the machine a little bit easier rather than having to baste it and you make those holes. If you choose with your solid fabric, you can adhere applique fuse and fix onto the back of it, peel the paper away, and then attach it over top of those stitched placement lines. Then you're going to stitch that and trim that solid fabric away. Then we're going to simply follow the machine steps to go through the color photo stitch colors as well as the applique cover stitch. And once that has stitched out, we are ready to remove our work from the hoop. We are ready to put that canvas back onto the wooden frame, and I try to match up my initial staple holes as much as possible and get that design centered in the wooden frame. And then I am going to use my extra staple stick to kind of remove any clipping debris and then re-staple the canvas onto the frame. So if you've missed any past lessons, we do have our schedule and our links right here. February 2024 was all about lettering. April was masterful editing. June was playing with offsets. August was creative tools in the software. And October, we did reversible applique.
All right. Well, what do you think? That was pretty fun, right? And I really have to tell you that I thank you so much for participating in this program throughout the year. It's been so much fun exploring and discovering all the things that we can do with our software, as well as the challenge of what are we going to make with this month's presentations, right? So I certainly hope that you will join us next year because we're doing it pretty much the same thing, rinse and repeat, right? So I'll see you in 2025. And if you want to see more videos like this one and other tutorials and store happenings, don't forget to check out our Bernina of Naperville YouTube channel. It's easy. It's youtube.com/Bernina of Naperville. And there you can like, comment, and subscribe. Happy New Year.